First, let me just say this. The reason that I am now part of the insurance industry is because I absolutely believe in this industry. I had 23 years of being in the public service. My motivation for public service was to help people. This is an industry that exists to help people, and I like that so much. In fact, just at the turn of the century, back in 1909, Winston Churchill said, if I could, I would write the word insure over the doorway of every cottage, because for sacrifice so small, you can keep a family from being smashed up forever. I think that's very noble. So when you think about all the people throughout the world who have hopes and dreams and desires, that they can have a positive future, that they can raise their children, and that tomorrow can be as good as today, and that they can always have dignity, you need to have insurance as part of that. The American Council of Life Insurers is comprised of some 300 members, all working together while they are working to compete with one another. They also know that as an industry, it's important to reach out to policymakers, to regulators, so that they understand the industry. They understand the business model. Life insurance, property and casualty insurance is different than banks and should not be regulated by bank-centric criteria. In the United States, our member companies on average hold their investments for 17 years. Very different than banks, who must have much faster liquidity. So I think that this is an opportunity for all of us to think about the future and what can be done. We also are facing something that we've not seen before, and that is the changing demographics of aging. People are living much longer. Many people don't realize how long they may live. It's interesting, those who are set to retire don't really realize what it may be if they live another 20, 30, or 40 years. And what happens if you then live beyond your income? What happens in that case? And that's why one of the things that we suggest is people need to realize to be as self-reliant as they can, so they're not totally government reliant. Governments are stretched thin. The government safety net is already stretched very thin. You need to have a partner in the private sector that can support those government programs, so that together people can have dignity for the rest of their lives. I think it's tragic if you have a situation where someone has been so successful in life, they properly raised their children, they have properly retired, and then suddenly they continue to live beyond, and it brings into doubt their dignity. May that never happen. Dignity is not a luxury. I think everybody's entitled to dignity, and that's what this industry is there for, to help people. Help people that in those tragic cases where somebody dies too soon, or in those cases where somebody lives so long. While you have quantity of life, may you also have quality of life. And I think that's really what this industry is about. Working to communicate that throughout the different regions of the world. While we think about insurance, life insurance, property and casualty, I also am an advocate for micro-insurance, because for many people in different parts of the world, you may have a situation such as a farmer in Vietnam that either because of drought or flood, it may wipe out his entire crop. There are certainly many times that something of that magnitude is devastating to a family, but with micro-insurance, that farmer has seeds the next season to plant, to raise the next crop, and to help the family. It's the beginning of being part of a continuum of what insurance can do to help people throughout their lives. The goals we have, such as meeting here in Chile with these wonderful people, is to compare our thoughts with one another. Chile has done some very progressive things where they have encouraged people that they must save for their retirement. We see that you have a population that is also aging, but last night at an event I saw many of the young people of Chile. I'm very impressed by them, with their positive attitude, with their friendliness, with their intelligence. We want to make sure that as an industry we realize that those young people will continue to prosper, will continue to have dreams and hopes, and if we can support that so that a tragedy does not interrupt somebody. The loss of a loved one should not be the loss of the dreams of that family for the children, and those children that become adults, that you can continue to have your dignity in those years that we hope are the retirement years. So the goals that we have are to travel around and the different regions, whether it's Latin America, all of America, whether it's Europe, Asia, Africa, but to work on behalf of people so that they can in fact have a positive future. The insurance market, the reinsurance market, no question that it is very challenging because of a low interest rate environment that's happening throughout the world. This is an industry that offers annuities, which are guaranteed lifetime incomes, a personal pension. In order to provide that guarantee, it becomes more and more challenging to do so when interest rates are so depressed. That's why we look for innovation. That's why we look for ways of working with regulators, with policymakers, those that have responsibility for the economy, and showing them again the keen role that insurance plays in the business sector, in the private sector, and how that can properly supplement and help the public sector. That allows the public sector to do for those people that cannot do for themselves, so that others that can be more self-reliant can do so. We believe in regulation. We want to make sure that the reputation of an industry is proper and that it is sustainable. And proper regulation allows that to happen. But we do not support over-regulation, regulation that is beyond what is necessary. And that's why we have these opportunities to meet with government officials. It was interesting that earlier this year, as the chairman of the Global Federation of Insurance Associations, I was in the country of Turkey in the spring. In a particular meeting, a government official said, "We are beginning to realize, based on what you have said, the relevance and the importance of your industry. If we sponsor it, would you come back later in the year and help us more fully understand the industry and how you can help us begin to shift some of the liabilities that we have of an aging population so that you would help us share the risk?" We went back in July of this year. The reason I say Turkey is because currently they are the presidency of the G20. That was significant for them to do that. It was very progressive. Next year, China will have the presidency of the G20. They have again reached out to us and said, "Would you come and help us more fully understand the benefits that can be derived by a strong insurance sector in the economy and the well-being of citizens?" I think that is very positive. When we think of these companies that certainly work together, but remember they are competitors. They want to ensure that they can show people that this is why this particular product may be best for your family. Another one may say, "I have a product that's best for you." That's the marketplace. That's how it should work. So again, we support regulation, but never ever over-regulation.